But what I want to say to you is that it's going to be a little different because Claire and her team have put a lot of effort into getting nice kind of videos and visuals for you. So they'll be shown, and then the beautiful participants and artists will come on the stage. So we're really looking forward to it, aren't we?
Yes, it's some of these visuals, it's the first time they've been screened, and it's very exciting and very historic, so it's a very special night, and in particular it's a great tribute to all the work that's been put into organising this, and in particular by Claire Walsh and our team, so Cultúrlann this week.
And to kind of get you into the mood, I want you to come with me, Sheer Tríd na Blianta, back as far as 1956. And if we say 56, you remember there was a great flag Ceolchoirm down in Ennis. Do you remember that, Mick? Were you at it?
I wasn't allowed to go.
You weren't allowed to go. He was too young. But the famous Robbie McMahon, he put together a song, do you remember at the time, about the flag down in Ennis? Well, there's one verse in it. They came down from Dublin so hearty and gay. They brought Leo Rowsome for to show them the way. Himself and Sean Seary, they played all the day with the flute player Vincent Broderick. Hang on to that. Take a look at what's coming on the stage, and we'll be back, won't we, Mick? Yes.
My father was a Renaissance man, that is for sure.
When you walked into a room, you knew Leo Rowsome had arrived, like, you know.
The music was his life.
I think that Leo Rowsome and his pipes represented the sound of the Irish pipes.
He was a star in recording terms, on radio terms, and in terms of live performance as well.
If you took Leo out of the equation, the piping world and the world of traditional music would be a different place.
He had a special way of playing the pipes. He was the king of the pipes.
My father was born in 1903. My great-grandfather then handed that tradition down to his son.
And in the process, he and his son developed an instrument that was more suited to the modern conditions, the louder dance halls and concert stages, and also the pitch of instruments, the contemporary instruments of that time, that people were playing in ensemble with the pipes.
There were very few people playing the pipes in his time, in the 20s, 30s. It was down to quite a minority, and I think it possibly would have ended up in a museum only for Leo Rowsome.
I've been very fortunate to have such a colourful life. Living in a house with a father like him and my mother, of course, as well. It was always very vibrant, lots of people coming and going, lots of interesting people, and I met an awful lot of people.
I was fascinated by Leo and his playing, you know. I would go to the Pipers Club on a Saturday night, and he would always, when the classes were over, not with myself but other pupils, he would then give a performance. That was always magic to me, you know. He was a brilliant piper. Only had the 30 minutes a week, you know, and that was it. So, you know, he would recognise, and then either it was going to happen or it wasn't going to happen, you know. I mean, there's a lot of pipers sort of went in, including incidentally the great Willie Clancy. Willie went into Leo for lessons as well. He was going there just to get his style. Now, you know, Willie had his own style of piping, but he was fascinated by Leo, you know.
Well, how did you like that? Now we're going to bring out a whole group of wonderful young pipers for you to see here. This is a real treat. So maybe they'll start coming out, and while they're coming out, I'm just going to call out the names of the people because I think it's really important that we recognise each and every one of them this evening. So Dara Reid, Cursus the Law of Marshall, and just let everybody know who you are. Brilliant. Ceolchoirm Mór le Chéile, Anava. Jack Branagh, yes. Aidan English. Ciarán Marisa. Ciarán Brown, very famous name. Where's Ciarán? In here. Do you know who his dad is? Yes. Oh, very good. Luke Toomey, Anava, and James O'Flynn. August, have I got everybody? Anava. I haven't got the people on the front because these are 6th generation. Leo Rowsome was 3rd generation. His family 4th. And the children here are of the 5th. They are the 6th generation, so their parents were the 5th generation. So let's introduce them to you. We have Alistair McGrahan, Alistair, Anava, Nisha Rowsome, Mark Rowsome Lysett, Tierna Rowsome, and Luke Anava, her father. And just to let you know, they're playing very interesting sets of pipes. So I understand that, Tierna, you're playing your great-great-great-grandfather's Williams set of pipes. And I know that, Alistair, you're playing a part of a Leo Rowsome set, isn't it? We think it is. And Nisha is also playing part of a Leo Rowsome set. And Tierna is playing William's set, and Luke and son, he's playing his grandfather's set, isn't that right? Leon's. So it's really, really nice to see that. And Mark, he's playing a set that has been developed and produced by that wonderful pipe maker, Cillian O'Brien. I think it's nice to know where the actual sets come from. And you are going to be blown away by this particular item. So sit back in your seats. Bígí compordach, mar galam shadív, go will treat alling on sock dív. What about more, the people yoga shop?
Ceolchoirm visited Leo Rowsome as he was working on a new set of pipes in his workshop in Belton Park in Donecarney. This was recorded for the series Muireann.
One over and chanter. The story and for the style of it and beam in chanter. And what the doctor in the Mairéad. Gentle show as almond crew. Boxwood, greenheart, ebony, no almond crew in Africa. But after African blackwood. Agus sa cheol ar Cultúrlann seo, tuisinn mid Leo Rowsome a hain I sint ceann dá árainn cuinte bhór an na mór, bás Staker Wallace, písa a pluiseach go minic way. Obarí seo gentíar fad is a láb ribh seo agus rinne Leo Rowsome hain le na láb ar fad é ach le déanaí inis fuair sin na sin. Sin inis an chanter cléochnaithe. Inis seo béidir an chuid is tábhachtú an píobh ó híobh ceáil de, sé sin nuair atá an chuid eile ré. Seo an read mar a deirtar, an rud an a riamh a dhéanaan an Uilleann. Gná chéin atá an seo. Gá píosa, háilte go ceann agus an sin pointilte ag an dá híl. Seanis an fadan copper le chuir deas a read. Sin an isise agus an isis an snárá sin a chas timpeall agus speise ré ar fad.
Paul, Paddy, and you're very welcome to hold this club here and to help us celebrate our Fleadh Chéile, Ceolchoirm, with a special tribute to Leo Rowsome, King of the Pipers. So, unfortunately, you can't be with us on the night, but you're going to give us an insight into piping in Dublin in the earlier days.
Yes.
So you grew up in Donecarney.
Donecarney, yeah.
You went to school where?
Muireann, just down the road from Leo. Leo was up in Belton Park. And up beside Charlie Honey, lived across the road from him actually. And so I used to spend quite a lot of time with his Liam and the late Liam and Leon, his two sons. And of course I'd be up and down all the time to Leo for looking for reeds and things for like pipes and that, you know.
Yes.
But to get a set of pipes, you know, was a big deal. I was at school with Marina, and
you're in class with?
In class with John Sheen. Yeah, we started on the old pintas or tin whistles. I my pocket. But we took Sofa, Sean and myself were quite good at, you know, the do re mi fa sol la ti do. So we use that quite a lot. I still do to this day, in fact, you know.
You stick with that method?
Yeah. Might be able to score or something like that. And
there was a brother in Ceolchoirm who actually formed a band.
That's right.
That's where you first saw Leon playing.
That's correct, yeah. The first time I saw Leo, there was a band playing there. My brother Forrest, he was a fiddle player. And he started that, and I was amazed when I saw this instrument, you know, just incredible. A set of pipes at that time, back bells and chanter, was £5. And that was more than a week's wages. So there was a lot of persuasion. My father tried to get her to change his mind and save up. So she saved up and she got the bank balance enchanter for me.
So you had to order a set. Was there much of a waiting list and there was huge waiting list now?
Yes, it wasn't too bad just for the bank balance enchanter. And then I enrolled in the School of Music. That's where Leo would give his half-hour lesson. Every Friday night I'd go there.
Every Friday night?
Yes.
Okay.
Mother would bring me on the bus, you know. And he'd write out 2 tunes. And each night, just 2 tunes. And then we'd play those 2 tunes. And in the meantime, I'd be playing the previous 2 tunes. Okay. So this is how the method got going, you know.
Was it like 1-to-1 or was it a big group?
No, it was 1-to-1.
1-to-1.
Yeah. And then I'd go to see him on Saturday nights as well. I got to know about Cultúrlann in 14 Thomas Street. And that was a great session there, you know, and Leo would perform.
I heard that he performed, and did he teach, he taught there on the Saturday?
He taught there. I didn't get any lessons there, but just to listen to him, you know. Yeah. And it would be the late Sean Seary there, and with Tui and different pipers.
Yeah, I often heard I heard somebody refer to Leo's workshop as the Aladdin's cave of piping.
Yes.
Did you ever get in there?
I looked in once or twice, you know, and I knew he didn't want me coming in, you know. So I'd be in the sit round, you know, and he'd bring in the reeds and try them out. No, I'm not too sure that works. Then he'd off again, he'd go and turn it down. But he made me a reed. I had it for 17 years, and somebody got hold of my pipes when I wasn't looking at it and messed it up. But I never forget that reed, you know.
Yeah, and it was difficult for them, I suppose. They had to make their own tools.
That's right.
And parts were very hard to source.
But he was an all-rounder. I mean, he promoted Uilleann pipes to that great extent, you know. I mean, he's responsible.
He was the instrument maker.
Yeah.
He was the teacher. The performer.
Interviews there and snippets of information. But I would like just to congratulate the group of young pipers there. It's so satisfying to see them. Music is very safe, and particularly Uilleann pipes needs a lot of encouragement. But I couldn't think of anything better than listening to those young musicians playing so well and so in tune. And you know, they're part of this tradition of the Pipers Club that goes back to 1900, and we have connections going back to that time, and it makes me very proud to see music of such a high caliber, and they all, what I know them, they all seem to be imbued with that respect for the tradition. And talking about respect, I have 3 gentlemen coming on here who I recall playing in Thomas Street. You were playing with the quartet, Mick Tui, who's coming out here, Fergus Finnegan, who was one of Mick's pupils, and Hubert Quinn. And the Quinn family have a great tradition in the Pipers Club from Thomas Street to the present day. Little Brennan is down there as well. And just while I think of it too, there was a clip there earlier on with Leo, there was a photograph, there was only one lady playing the pipes, and she's sitting in the front here, Betty Neville, so nice to see you there, Betty. And while the lads are tuning up, on Thomas Street, after Leo's class, he would play with his pupils, and particularly if we were rehearsing for the broadcast, and I recall Leo playing with Sean Seary, and Sean was a very good piper, and he left his pipes to Fergus Finnegan, which I think he did well, because Fergus is a worthy piper, and he values those pipes. So you know, those sessions were very informal, but the quartet was a big thing in Irish music, and people listened to it all over the country, and you know, still today people talk about it because they hear 4 pipers playing was something. And so we haven't got 4 tonight, but the 3 men are going to do justice to it. So big hand for Fergus, Mick and Hubert. Thank you.
Keep talking for a little while.
Typical point from afraid I've just let me down at the moment, but anyway, I suppose a couple of tunes we're going to play are tunes that are synonymous with Leo. He always played a couple of marches, so with that in mind we're going to start off with one of his favourites anyway. Boys Wexford, is it? I don't know.
They're very quiet, aren't they?
I suppose I would just like to say I'm probably privileged to play with the two lads here. They're former stalwarts of the Pipers Club. Mick is probably, I'm not too sure whether many people, but he's probably know it, but he's probably, I think, one of the last surviving, if not the last surviving member of the Rowsome Quartet. So it's a fitting night, I think, for him to be here. We're going to play a set dance again. It was a tune that Leo played quite a lot, and it's the Jockey at the Fair, and we'll probably play it a little bit slower probably than most people because there's such great music in it, from the piping aspect anyway. So Jockey at the Fair. Finish off with two reels again, two of Leo's great tunes, Bird in the Bush and The Traveller, which is probably not played an awful lot these days, but here goes.
Finnegan agus Vic Toohey agus Hugh Quinn and son. Na graf si go hauling. And that all really is about the Piper's Club in Thomas Street. And I well remember it and those people playing those lovely tunes. But then the Piper's Club moved out of Thomas Street and came out here to Cultúrlann na hÉireann. And of course the rest is history. You all know what's happened here since they arrived out. Wonderful, wonderful music throughout here and throughout the country and of course internationally as well. But when they came out here, people from around the area started coming. And our next guest is one of those. Bhíodh sí tachtaisteach an sagas í na Cailín agus is Craobh Gomahi, agus Anna Hímar Fadakins na hÉireann. She loved singing and she loved the songs. And Paddy Kelly, if he's here in the audience, she attributes to Paddy, are you there, Paddy? Oh, look there, Bert and son. She attributes, you know, to you, if you like, the person that gave her first break, Mara Derfa. You put her on the stage here. And people like Seamus McMahona, I don't know if he's present with us tonight or not, but he was a great man of song. He was very good to her in terms of encouraging her and bringing her along. And so are many, many others. But she was so interested and took those songs so well and learnt them so well that in 1995 she went and she achieved the highest pinnacle for sean singing in Irish. Agus Críonig sin ran an taobh so tíre agus go si I gcuineh muintir na Gaeltachta agus thug si lé an sway an ihe sin agus fuair si gradam I riada agus nó sin buach faointe tradiisiún an arachtais agus an ceol Gaelach ó héamh cuasaí amhránaíochta de. Now, hic si an rá agus déirigh si amach an áit agus cúil si siar. Siar go dtí an trá bán agus samhnatá cónaíir hí inis agus nóita an cháilir hí mar amhránaí. She's not with us here, but tonic she near enough. She came the whole way back here to the Cultúrlann simply to be here tonight. I'd like you to give a very warm welcome, Masha Broderick, to Mairéad ní Oistin. Mairéad, welcome, son. And that's the district on top. Got a song crack here. Oh, Ina. Anyway, I don't know what she's actually going to sing for you, but I'd love her to sing Ceanna Scailge agus Ceanna Sperna. Would you like that? Yeah. I think you'll really enjoy that. Put a bass forward, so it's the rail.
We're in nach Willis Ekike, the classes may I'll use the age-old one. If I have 2 or 3 in my head, whatever one comes out, and I hope, but.
Agus Fór níl bríon gábíad nach liciad síos atís go bhíonn sibh os gon part. Sé dúirt más tóirlam ligean gan lón nach min sibh ach sealbh gar. Sér dúirt meile go dóg sí ach is gur fadar mo hiilsan de chúdáil. Nach fecin si ben an bhíbáin ré mar chuise leis a tartar ball. Sa chóir san híclé flachagí úr méil mar brion ní bhí sibh tar héis úr máis.
As Muireann said, this is sort of like coming back to school for me, and that's a long time ago. But many great singers I heard in this building, and I was very, very lucky to have met Muireann and her mother, and Seamus McMahon was a great stalwart. Mairéad in Uilleann lived in Monkstown. I was very lucky to have met really good Connemara singers while I was here in Dublin, and it sort of helped me. But I also heard other singers from other parts of the country, and I would like to sing a song in English now called Sweet King Williamstown, which I actually learned from the singing of a piper and a singer, Thomas O'Gannon, but also used to listen to the late great Frank Bryson, who was a lifelong member of this branch, singing as well. So it's Sweet King Williamstown. My bonny bark floats light and free across the surging foam. It bears me far from Inishfell to seek a foreign home. Alone the exile driven 'neath misfortune's cruel frown, far from my home and the friends so dear in sweet King Williamstown. As here upon the deck I stand and watch the surging foam, kind thoughts arise all in my mind, for friends I'll ne'er see more, for childhood days and happy hours, how fast the tears roll down, still thinking of the friends so dear in sweet King Williamstown. Shall I no more gaze on that shore or view those mountains high, or walk along black waters' banks where I roved as a child, or watch the sun o'er Knocknabar light up the heather bright?
she flings her farewell beams o'er sweet King William's town. I know not yet, but I fondly hope where'er my footsteps roam, to cherish deeply in my heart the thoughts and love of home. Now fades the shore, and upon my soul the night winds softly down. Oh, God be with you, Ireland. Farewell, King William's town. Gurmeen Margaret.
Singham Dowd Commodore na Bliana, agus chuna Uilleann dún, tá ceanns do Craobhtóirí is rátaí i Tágbin, trahúil gomach chomá is limnaíocht fire. Bulamas mór, de Ceolchoirm Mór le Chéile.
Severas agus tradiisiúnachas a chuid Commodóirta, atá dúsa an phobal le bhá grún an ús. Tá faoin chumse a gasa ceoltóirí go forlachan sa tír seo agus ar fud na cruinne, Vincent Broderick. Agus anis céimid pís agus gan an a Winle, Vincent.
Is as a garú mór an aic le baile locharíoch in nethir na Gaillimhe Vincent Broderick. Is an sin a bhíoh sé hÉireann sa ráth Peter is sin an ceol ar bheadú mór. Drastal siad go rialta ar ransaí tí sa gantar go minic a ggóladar lehetí Paddy Carthy agus Joe Cooley. Nuair a chóise go baile cléas na cuigadaí, bhí baint ag le club na bPíobairí, agus bhí sé mar bháil goháin i Céile ar nús Éamon Cant agus an Cincóra. Tá clú ar Vincent mar chomadóir ceol din sco, agus tá cuidmháda chun písaí le cloistead ag sesiún ó cheann ceann na tíre. Fáil siú ceol Vincent a bharim leabhar agus caiisiad cúpla bliana chuin, rud a ágans go mbeidh sé ar fáil go na glúnta amach roiin. Commodóir na bliana TG Cahar, Vincent Broderick.
I'm delighted to get this award from TG Cahar.
That brings us down memory lane. Vincent was a pivotal figure in the Pipers Club, and I particularly recall him playing with the Amy Cavey band. He really made that band very special. And every now and then at the Cavey he would lean into the microphone and he would play, and I tell you, he used to put the hair stand in the back of my head. But he was a great composer, and a lot of the time that went unnoticed until I think the origin of Tony Smith, Anton McGowan. He finally produced a book, and a second book as well of his compositions, which are very much in the repertoire of the mainstream and traditional music now, which is a great thing. And we have tonight now all Vincent's sons, Des and Larry, and they're going to play a tribute to their father, and Matthew, Des' son, reading a poem later on. So here we go with Vincent Broderick's tribute. Very much.
Those first two tunes are two jigs my father composed called the Angler's Rock and the Wexford Mayfly. And a lot of my father's tunes, the names are very important to him. And the first two will link back to holidays Larry and I, and Vincent, who's here as well, would have had in Wexford. And the Angler's Rock is on a famous beach in Wexford, and we had one famous summer with Frankie Nolan, the Limerick Court, was there, and we had 2 weeks of hitting balls up and down the beach, so that's the first of them. We're going to continue with two slides. The first one is called the Derry Bryan, and then the Benmore slide. The next two tunes are two reels. The first one is called The Red Bog, and that's my father was born in East Galway in 1920, and he was born in a place called Bullaun, which was really in the middle of the bog near Lough Rea in County Galway. And he used to say when the sun came down in the evening across, he used to like a red bog, so that was the name for that. And the second one is Lord Dunsandle, and he used to always have great time talking about the story. Lord Dunsandle was a famous landlord in Galway, and our great-grandfather and his wife were evicted sometime in the 1880s, and they were travelling across by foot, and that's where they came across Ceolchoirm Mór and to Bullaun, and they found a house, and somebody had just left it to go away, emigrated to America, and that's where they settled, and that's where my father was brought up. So he hadn't a lot of time for Lord Dunsandle, although it's good real. Matthew is going to recite a poem my father wrote. He wrote a couple of songs, some of them are memorable, some of them weren't. He wrote, this is the Valley of Glencree. It's actually a song he wrote, but it's a nice piece, and Matthew's going to read it, and I think we might have some of my father playing in the background.
The Valley of Glencree by Vincent Broderick. On a pleasant summer's eve, if you can take your leave, you seek a place where you'll have peace of mind. Just cross the Dublin hills, where the air with fragrance fills. God has left a piece of heaven here behind. The skylark's cheerful sound in the heather all around, and you're listening to the humming of the bee. In the fertile land below, where the mountain stream doth flow, across the lovely valley of Glencree. You can gaze across the moor at the mountain of Kipure, when the TV mast soars upwards to the sky, and the scent of turf and logs as the workmen in the bogs gather in the winter's fuel when it's dry. And the murmur of the wind as you wander round the bend, you can feast your eyes across the Irish Sea, where the evening sun reflects and the undergrowth protects the wildlife round the valley of Glencree. So if you've got time to spare, just spend a while when there, and you will find that what I say is true. You can spend a summer's day along the Wicklow Way with the ever-changing scenic mountain view. So if I say adieu to a place I love so true, it will always be for me a memory, just a spot on Ireland's map around the Sally Gap that leads you to the Valley of Glencree. Thank you.
So the next tune we're going to play is a tune my father composed when Matthew was born, and it's called The Little Ray of Sunshine. My father came to Dublin in 1950, or in the early 50s, and I suppose in those days it was like emigrating, although, you know, I never actually understood it until he got older. But in the 50s when he came to Dublin, he only got home maybe once or twice a year, so to him it was very much like emigration. And he had a real thing about emigration. And the next two tunes we're going to play are two jigs. One is called The Whistler at the Wake, and the other is called The Old Flail. The Whistler at the Wake, there's a story my father used to tell about himself and his brother used to go out playing together, and They had a fantastic ear for music, and there was a lot of odd fellas who would have a tune, but they wouldn't want anybody to know it. So they'd have a game between the two of them, and one would try and learn the first half, and the other would listen to the second half. And they'd meet on the way home, and they'd try and play it. And this night there was a wake-on in a house, and they didn't even know the people. But they decided to go in anyway, and they offered their condolences to the family. And they're sitting in the corner, and the brother is saying to my father, what's that second bit again? And they're there whistling, and they'll say, shh, stop. So this was going on, and eventually they were kicked out of the wake, and they had to go home. So my uncle said to me, Dad, that's a great name for a tune. So that's the background of that tune. So it's a whistle at the wake, and the old Fleadh. We were asked to get involved in this, and we're delighted to be involved, particularly with the Pipers Club. I was, thinking about what I would say about my father as a composer. And during the week, I was going through some stuff at home in my mum's house, and I came across a piece written by him about how he composes. So I think it's probably fitting that we use his words rather than me talk about my father composing. So this is a piece he called Dozing and Composing. Over the years, now this was written many years ago before the books were even published. So over the years I've composed over 50 tunes, reels, jigs, hornpipes, marches, slip jigs, polkas and slow airs. Yet I cannot read music. I play all by ear, and a good friend of mine, that'll be Tony Smith, has written a lot of my stuff. I hope it'll get printed sometime. People often say to me, how can you compose music when you cannot read it? Have you a gift? Have you to be in a certain place or in a certain mood? Well, I don't know about a gift, but places and moods are very important to me. I could go for weeks and nothing would come to me, but if I came to a certain spot, music would come rushing to my mind. This could be on a mountain drive, in an old house, the sound of the waves by the sea, the whistling of the wind, even sitting at home alone by the fire. If the mood was right, the music will come. It all began many years ago in a bog in Ceolchoirm Mór outside Loughrea in County Galway. I was one of a big family on a small farm. We had a very large bog. We cut a lot of turf for sale, which meant quite a bit of time was spent saving it. I spent hours on end on my own in this way. To me, this was a perfect place to be in touch with nature. The birds singing, the frogs croaking in the bog hole, the dog barking, the donkey braying, the cuckoo, the corn crake, the wind humming through the heather. All the sounds were music to me. It was here the first pieces of music came to me. One evening I was sheltering from a thunderstorm under the turf bank, reading a book by the great Seamus O'Kelly, a Lochray man, who was a gifted writer. The book was called The Leprechaun of Kilmane. When the rain was over, the sun came out and I saw this beautiful rainbow in the horizon. As I watched the lark soaring up into the sky, I thought of the leprechaun and the crock of gold. In a flash, the music came to me. I found myself whistling one reel and then another. As I watched the rainbow falling in the distance, I dozed asleep. When I awoke, the rainbow had vanished, but the music remained, and still here through the years. And he called those tunes The Rainbow's End and The Crock of Gold. With two reels that are probably more commonly played, the Coachman's Whip and the Flagstone of Memories. And again, going back to this thoughts of emigration, the Flagstone of Memories was the big flagstone outside the old colleges, particularly in the West, and they were actually called, a lot of them were called the Flagstone of Tears, where people would dance their last dance before they went away to America or England. But my father always liked to have a happy slant on things, and that's why he always called it the Flagstone of Memories. So we finish up with these two reels.
Wasn't that a fitting tribute to Vincent Broderick and my own family and all my friends? Very kind. I see Michael Tuberty down there. I recall Vincent had a 78 that Céile produced, and he was playing a tune called The Rookery. And we didn't know it was his own composition at the time, but people were modest, or I think we were a bit nervous about proclaiming that they were composed tunes, because you wouldn't know what it would bring on you. But Des mentioned Lord of the Sandal, and I recall talking to Vincent years ago about that he told me there were 60 people evicted that night from Dunsand. And he mentioned that Patsy Tooley's family were evicted as well. So there was hard times, and the main thing is they survived, and I don't know where our Dunsand's people are, but their music is thriving, and that's we have a lot to be thankful for. But mentioned Patsy Tooley brings me next to Joe Doyle's gang. That's what they're described as here. Joe Doyle idolises Patsy Tooley, and when he was sick in hospital, someone said they were going to send him up a tape of music to play, and it might cheer him up. But I was exhorting him to make sure it was Patsy Tooley, because I know Joe has a shrine to Patsy Tooley in his house, so that shows you what sort of an addict he is. And he's joined on stage by Leo Rickard, Peter McKenna, Aoife Carty, and Pádraig Kelly. So they're a vibrant bunch of musicians, and they all have great musicality. And Joe in particular has been such a successful teacher that I think he has 21 first place. His pupils got 21 of his pupils got first in the Uilleann Pipes, so that's some record. I think it's probably unbeaten. So I know Jimmy Brennan of the Pipers Club has a special presentation. It's a perpetual cup that's going to be presented to Joe. It's a perpetual cup that's going to be presented to the Cultúrlann for Uilleann piping, and it's called the Joe Doyle Cup. So, are you there, Jimmy? Don't adjust your sets, he'll be here in a moment. Well, Joe is here, the main man. Joe. We'd like to say a few words. You're going to present this cup on behalf of, as a perpetual cup on behalf of Joe's endeavours over the years.
Right, Accorda, I didn't think I'd be up here tonight. I was here Wednesday, and I'm not that kind of person. However, I'm delighted on behalf of Cumann na Uilleann to be presenting to the memory and the life of Joe this perpetual cup into one of the Uilleann piping competitions on Sunday. So I'd just like Joe to hold it for a moment, and hopefully he will be with us on Sunday to present it. Will you? Brilliant, that's what I want to say. So there you are. Okay. Good evening, Margaret.
Mágaman son Joe Doyle agus Leo Rickard, Sean Bowtie, agus Eve McCarthy, agus Paul Kelly home for the weekend. We're delighted to see him. And of course, Peter McKenna. Weren't they fantastic? Absolutely. And so are you. You're a fabulous audience. And we have a feast of piping here tonight, haven't we? And beautiful music and beautiful memories. And thinking about Vincent Broderick as well. But we've come to the end of the first half. Dara le Cuide agus Anish tá té agus Ruddy Das and son for the Chilwin and Mairéad. Lovely tea and nice goodies, I'm told, outside. We're taking a break for about 10 minutes. Will you come back to us? Because we've got a really amazing second half.
Look at the watch this stage. My God! Eternal youth on your side.
I was just thinking about my first fete. Yeah. Leo carried me down the hall and the jig I played was the Lark in the Morning. Would you fancy playing that? You sure? Great stuff.
Agus an agalah sin a chur Paddy Maloney. Didn't she do really well? And I think we need to kind of compliment her. She's responsible for the whole show this evening, and she's also responsible for the visuals. And I think they're adding to it. Do you feel they're adding to it? I think, certainly from where I am, it's giving a nice kind of unusual vibe to the evening. So Claire, take a bow. But look who we have on the stage. I call them the young adults because they're little over 18, but between them they have so many All-Irelands that I can't even begin to start naming them out to you. And what's common about all of them is that they have one common teacher. And who is that? Joe Doyle. So we need to give Joe another round of applause because he is an institution in himself. Agus cé tá chuing an stáit ar na bhuaire bhfuil tá in Lord Builan son an Cailín óg a measc na bharmh sin Siobhan Parker. Agus in a teanta an son an tá Timmy Doyle, Fionn Morrison, Fergus Whiteley agus Éanna Drury. So, ceol even áling a rís ar na bPíobairí ón grúpa Sol. This is the future. This is the generation that's carrying it forward quicker than they think. So let's hear what you've got to offer us.
I offered two slip tricks. The first one was the first slip, and the second one harder than the flip.
like set of pipes throughout the tune, I suppose. Right, so there was a few jigs there, slip jigs. We're going to continue on with a set of reels, but in between the set of reels, we're going to each have a go at a different reel. So we're going to start with the Swallow's Tail, and then do 5 reels. Don't know what they are yet. And then we'll finish off with the Dublin reel, okay? So thanks very much.
Thank you.
now. Would you like to see what they look like today? Listen, while they're coming out on the stage behind me, we are so fortunate enough. Oh, she go home to her father when she Tarbh le Chéile, reach doing special the nacht. Eat go lair and Duignan and Céile, not more. Ach, well, listen good. The thing that was so important and so unusual about this Céile band, the Piper Stop Céile band, they were sons and daughters of the founders of Cultúrlann, if you like. So in the group we had Fleadh and Mary McIlvanney, and of course their father, Paddy McIlvanney, an institution here in Cultúrlann. Uilleann McQueenie, her parents were on the committee. Roma Casey, a friend, I think your people were involved as well, Roma, on the committee at that stage. And then we have Deirdre Hodge on the concertina, whose mother would have been very strongly involved with Cultúrlann, and in fact I think was the first secretary. Where are you, Deirdre? Wasn't she one of the first secretaries of Cultúrlann? Yes, indeed. And then of course Sean Montgomery, or otherwise known as Monty, on the fiddle, and Peter McKenna of the McKenna clan, who were an institution in Thomas Street at the time, and fantastic musicians, lots of them, brothers and of course their sister as well. And we also had Ceolchoirm, who unfortunately can't be with us here again, and his parents were very strongly involved. But the wonderful thing about this Céile band is that they went out in '74 and they won the underage. They turned around the following year and they won the senior competition, 75. Agus, as if that wasn't just bad enough, Honey she Carnation, Leondar Gyun, agus Scup she low on Príomh Gush, and everybody was absolutely astounded. I well remember, some of them were still going to school. You still are, he says. But they had wonderful teachers. I mean, Sean Kane. Not right, the girls on the fiddle, but Sean Kane on the fiddle. And of course, Leo for the pipes. And Deirdre had her own teaching in the concertina, because I think you were unique in playing the concertina in the group at that particular time. There weren't many concertina players. But they had a fantastic mentor, a person from the Castle Céile band. Do you remember the Castle Céile band? Oh, they were something else, weren't they? Well, there are two former members of the Castle Céile band on the stage with them tonight. And my lab Bádóir and Sot Enocht was, of course, the mentor to this particular band, Mick O'Connor. He was fantastic. He was then and he is now. Búlabás mór le Mick. Anabá, agus noi, Katie and a handful son, no, Michael Tuberty, agus noi, bhí sesin ag takadí cumann na bPíobairí in the Craobh nor hána sé blacklí dúis. So, you're in for a lovely special treat. Búlabás mór do, cumann na bPíobairí, the Bonnie Céile, cumann na bPíobairí. my youth, nor vís ógams, nor vís a tríal gach ihide sachadan, istakadi Cumann na bPíobairí Uilleann Sráid Hamáis. Agus stígan son, the vi, more úshlin na tíra mar derfa. The best musicians, the best singers were all there, and these lovely open fires and singing around the fire, and then people asking you for different songs. And tonight we're really putting an emphasis on the piping and placing, a centre stage for the pipes tonight. And we're also commemorating composers, in this case, Vincent Broderick. So I thought maybe that I'd sing a song that Leo would have asked me to sing several times, Nuair Bhís Óg. And that's one that my grandfather wrote, and it's Ceolchoirm Mór le Chéile, and he was Sean Owen O'Sullivan, Oistin Cultúrlann. Áitír gúil de mas na sléite, but that was Sáite secure. And it was the traditional song of that part that really I brought from my heritage. So it goes something like this, and you probably all know it because I sing it quite frequently at events like this. Táim sigus maid agus sásta dar naigine, ó nasca go bartin ag an állóir óhanna. Thug si siú grá ar cardin is fearradum, Hágus lávís go brach níos gar a míd, mis Ceolchoirm. Come on. Partini belagum Rex Fleadh a hÉireann. Tá ma hailug san áid is brail an maile seo, barcur troáin na háirín seach nach gura. Crinach do fás an cóhardais na clachacha, sme feheh an trásin go bhíce me a bigé, mis Ceolchoirm. Partini belagum Rex Fleadh a hÉireann. Ó, tá tarí a fás am gáirdín go snachtathe, Ólas bionán agus choirí darga. Siúcra an mála le rátha go taiscethe, chun sofas mar sláán don babas don bhanara, mis Ceolchoirm. Dóibh partini belagum Rex Fleadh a hÉireann. Má chéile sí maire an staid van báil vasúil, síos ag díomhánas an páistéir a hascarocht. Stocken na lives na branin tí praberdig, íag na tálas a crón an an lana vín, mis Ceolchoirm. Partini belagum Rex Fleadh a hÉireann. Sé bhuaim chun an ardmhic na grás na scaparing, Scoilandig an tásan gan gátar na aspal sin. Snor a hocaigh lán áire ver bhaithe go diasafit, go dógad dír náide in náide go parahas, bets a Ceolchoirm. Partini belagum Rex Fleadh a hÉireann. Sinead, and no matter how long the day is, the evening comes. Now, let's go back to leave you on a high note. And in the past, one of the things that Leo was very famous for was bringing together this wonderful quartet. People heard them on the radio and they saw them. They dressed up, they had their beautiful Mairéad, the léonid bána agus na bow ties agus mar sin dó. And tonight's no exception. I think it is anyway. And I'd like to leave you tonight con clausúr a chuir leis an ihe úntacha in the capable hands of the Leo Rowsome Quartet, as it is enough. So Marche Broderick, Bólabás Mór le Leo Rowsome Quartet, under the direction of Kevin Rowsome. Anyway, enough talking. Let the music do the talking. Gurmahagib Iaba as Camerami Bio and I'm sorry.
much. They were two hornpipes that were recorded by Leo, the Manchester and the Honeysuckle. And we're going to play two jigs now as well, recorded by Leo. The Gallo Glass and the Maid at the Spinning Wheel. very much. We're going to finish off actually with a set of marches that Leo recorded as well. 4 marches: the Irish Emigrant, the Wearing of the Green, the Irish Rover and the Minstrel Boy. And I'd just like to thank Leo Rickard, Mick O'Brien and Nully McCarthy for playing the quartet tonight. So please, a round of applause. Thanks very much.
Wasn't that fantastic? All right, we can't have them back again because they'll be outside in a moment. Listen, sin deire leis an glór den ihe nacht, tá súlagum go bhaintir tanavas, but is hain anna hanavas me hénig agus noi ve gobar damta le Mick O'Connor. Agus go déisiad ó bhaile slán agus feic mí de chéile go lua amachchatsa. Have a great evening and a great weekend. Iabagah. But what I want to say to you is that it's going to be a little different because Claire and her team have put a lot of effort into getting nice kind of videos and visuals.